Hi, Cindy here from the Post and Rail, and today I was just about to take my compost out and bury it in the garden, and I thought I might bring you along on the journey so you can see how I do composting. Now originally I bought a double composting tumbling machine, of which you fill up one side and then you wait for that to decompose, and while that's happening you fill up the other side. However, I filled it in about 3 weeks both sides, so I was really looking for another method that I could actually compost more often, because when you grow veggie scrap, there's more scraps. There's more scraps that you get, the offcuts, the shoots, that you don't always get when you purchase things. Sometimes you buy celery and it's a complete half bunch, or you don't buy the ends, or with lots and lots of it. Beetroot, for instance, you don't always get the leaves of the beetroot. So when you're growing it yourself, you get a lot more composting scraps. So this is a way I found was really fantastic, and I'm now 2.5 beds in, and what I've actually done, we've dug a trench in here, or just a hole basically, and we've put the scraps in it. So these are the scraps I've got from the last night's cooking, and we've basically got lettuce, we've got eggshells, avocado, onion skins, all the things from food that I've got, coffee grinds, watermelon ends. I will put lemons in here, like anything that I've juiced, all the trimmings. There's half a pumpkin in there, it's fine. But I've actually to the point where I've filled it quite, well, I want to be able to put a good 6 inches of soil back on top of the hole and have it be level with the ground. So we're at that point. I think I've had this hole for about 2 weeks. So I filled it up. All I'm going to do now is bury it. So you get to see me doing some work here. Unfortunately, there's no power tool I can buy that does this in a more fun way, but this does not take long. All right, that was only a few spadefuls of soil. Now I've already done this side of the garden bed, so we are 1/3 of this bed that has buried compost in it. So then I'm going to dig my new hole here, and I'm going to continue until this whole bed has a good foot of compost underneath 6 inches of dirt here. And what happens, and this is the exciting part, what happens is in the soil that has had that foot of compost underneath, the worms come. The worms come and the microbes work, and everything happens really quickly, to the point where you speed up your composting to a ridiculous amount. And when you think about it, it is getting rained on, it is getting access to all the microbes and all of the worms that are there. So everything's getting churned over and turned over and made into humus rich soil very quickly. And you can put your egg shells in it, you can put your citrus in it. In fact, you often get some free plants. The only thing I don't put in it, if I get a chance to stop anyone putting them in the scraps bin, is potato peelings and potatoes. The reason for that is they grow everywhere and very easily. So as much as I would like to, as I love free plants, potatoes in particular are one of those ones where they will come up no matter what, wherever you plant them. But on the plus side, I've had I threw out a cob of corn that had gone too far, and I reburied it, and the whole thing, every corn on that cob germinated and grew me another bunch of corn in the time it took to grow corn and actually harvest it again. So I actually had 2 crops of corn, and one of them was free because it did it itself. So I'm very much excited about this composting method. I hope you give it a go. What's good is it's there anyway. You've got the ground. I just happen to have a few spots where I haven't got anything planted, but I have no qualms whatsoever in replanting something over the top of this straight away. So feel free to bury your scraps and things from your kitchen. If you don't have chickens, and I don't have chickens yet, but you don't want to feed them eggshells and they don't eat lemons and citrus and oranges and stuff, I bury everything except for potatoes, for that reason I mentioned earlier. But what an easy way to do it, and that just buried 2 weeks worth of scraps in one area, and that's going to basically feed my soil, improve the microbes, get the worms going. It's so easy, and I hope you enjoyed this talk. Now to dig the hole. So I'm just continuing on where I was. I'm just going to pile up the dirt on the recently dug section, or the recently filled in section. So that's a nice deep hole there. It is a bit more than spade depth. I'm going to leave the spade there for when it comes time to bury the next couple of weeks of scraps. And then I'll go so on and so forth until this bed has been under composted. Easy done.